Ha facoltà di intervento.
Уважаеми господин председател, уважаема госпожо Аштън, от името на групата на социалистите и демократите ви приветствам в заседателната зала на Европейския парламент за пръв път в качеството ви на върховен представител по външната политика и заместник-председател на Европейската комисия. Един пост с два компонента, които ние разглеждаме като единни и неделими. Независимо, че истинското изслушване в Комисията по външна политика ще се проведе през януари, вярвам, че днешната дискусия ще бъде много важна с оглед вашата работа до гласуването на състава на новата Европейска комисия. Фактът, че във втория ви работен ден вие сте в Европейския парламент, показва ясно вашите намерения да сътрудничите тясно с нас, с този орган, който е единствения пряко избран от гражданите на Европейския съюз. Това е важен знак, защото договорът от Лисабон, който е в сила вече втори ден, освен че създаде вашия пост, разшири значително и правомощията на Европейския парламент. В следващите седмици и месеци вие ще бъдете подложена на натиск от различни страни и посоки, защото позицията ви в системата на европейските институции е нова и тепърва ще имате отговорности да изпълните със съдържание и да позиционирате по-ясно в координатната система между правителствен и общностен подход. Не е нужно да споменавам къде са нашите предпочитания. Бих искал да ви пожелая много сили и здрави нерви, за да постигнете успех. Now I switch to English to avoid any misunderstandings with the questions. There are some positive signs in the EU-Russian relations. Russia joined the EU position on the Iranian nuclear program. President Medvedev in his recent speech put modernization as nation's main task and addressed the problems of corruption and unfair elections. What should the EU, in your opinion, do for its part to solve the energy disputes involving the EU and Russia, which is one of the main sources of both opportunities and challenges in these relations? And how is the EU planning to reinvigorate the dialogue with Russia on human rights, democracy and rule of law? Thank you.
Per la replica a questi primi 4 interventi. Prego.
Thank you, Mr. President. Within 5 minutes, I will necessarily be brief. Mr. Salafranco, thank you for your good wishes. I think you rightly are looking for the relationship I wish to have with Parliament. Let me say this, I want to respect fully the treaty and respect fully Parliament. How we make that work is in a sense for us to determine together. I'm quite clear where the responsibilities and final decisions making must lie because I had to read the treaty in great detail in order to take it through the Parliament I was associated with. But I have never, ever shied away from wishing to see Parliament take its place in that dialogue and discussion, and we need to discuss how to make that happen. In terms of whether I want to stop the traffic anywhere, actually I want to keep the traffic moving. I think what really matters for us is that we, in many different ways, sometimes with a loud and concerted voice and often with a quieter voice, make it clear what the European Union stands for, the values that we hold, and that we play our part in making things work better. You asked about the disagreement on the General Secretary of the UN. It's not surprising to me with 27 member states that we have different views, and one of the challenges in my role is to work with those 27 member states and find the common threads. And I don't mean lowest common denominator, I mean highest common factor within that. Thank you from Mr. Vigenin for the Socialist Group, welcome too, and agree that it's about working as closely as we can. I was at the summit in Stockholm. I've attended all the summits for the last year that we've had with Russia. I think what President Medvedev is saying is quite interesting about the way he's approaching the future for Russia. We're going to have to work closely with them. We did talk, of course, about energy issues with them, and we'll have to continue that dialogue. But I do think on human rights, the rule of law, all of these issues, we must continue to talk with Russia. And already, as I've said, I've had the opportunity to listen into those dialogues and, of course, to have my own dialogue as Trade Commissioner, not just with the trade ministers, but also with the President and the Prime Minister of Russia themselves. And I will continue on that. Thank you, too, for the ALDE group, working in terms of not the photograph, as you said. I didn't really know where I was when the photograph was taken. I arrived in a room and there it was. I'm off to Madrid this afternoon. to meet with the rotating presidency, to have dinner with some foreign ministers, to meet with the Prime Minister of Spain this afternoon. I will be able to discuss with them. It's important that we use the energy of the rotating presidency. It's important that we use the Member States' opportunity wisely and well. I'm very clear what this means in terms of my role, but I'm also clear that we can gain a lot from finding the right way through that. I have no doubts in my own ability to manage working closely with colleagues, but being clear about my own role within that. In terms of the External Action Service, there are lots of plans that I have in terms of finding ways that we can provide the leadership that we need to have across the world. Looking for that unique selling proposition, as I've described it, is going to be essential. Ms. Lunacek, thank you again. You're the clear, united voice that you wish us to speak with. I agree. I won't be an extension of the British government. I have been appointed by the 27 Member States, and I will, as I believe I did with trade, faithfully reflect the European Union. And you're right, I am known to be pro-European in my own country, and I'm very proud of being known as that. It will be important to have consistency of action. In terms of the UN now, the role of the High Representative is to speak on behalf of the 27 where there is agreement. That's the position, and that's the position as it will stay. In terms of Bosnia, there's a lot to do. I've had conversations and discussions already about this, the Berlin Plus agreement and the way that we're able to use that, but there's much more to do. Again, I haven't got time to go into detail. Visa dialogue, Kosovo,